We have seen how we have created this bookend with two pieces. And now we're going to add a third piece that serves as reinforcement between the two. The end user will be able to choose this reinforcement among different options. To do this, we begin by creating different options for this piece. The first is going to be the simplest, a square. All these pieces will have two parameters, width and height. The other values are of little importance because they will come from the value that we define in the main object. We are going to make it up to 30 centimeters. With a default value of 2 centimeters. And the height, which we double the width parameter. We call it stop and leave up to half a meter, with an initial height of 10 centimeters. We have said that we are going to make a square. We are going to center the square on the line of the x-axis, the red one, and let it reach where the YZ plane begins. In order to place all the modules in the same position and then bring them to the final position on the bookend. We write the name we give to the piece. The length in x, since it is a square, will be the same as the height z. Height is the height parameter, and the length in y is going to be the width parameter. We zoom in to see it better, and we choose a material. We save and give the name square to the module as well. We are going to center it on the x-axis, therefore we are going to move it in y. Half the width, and we keep it. For the next module, which is going to be a cylinder, we can duplicate the square object. Its name is cylinder. What interests us are the parameters. Therefore, we delete the square and we add a cylinder. We give the same name to the piece. The radius is the height between two. For both the top and the bottom, and the height is the width, since we are going to rotate this cylinder. We zoom in. It will be in a rotated position. So we're going to rotate around the x-axis minus 90 degrees. We are also going to raise it so that it is on the base, the height between two. In this case, we are going to put 3 cylinders. You have placed 3 cylinders along the x-axis. We want to place them along the y-axis. And separated twice the width. We see that they are located here, and now we move them on the y-axis. Two and a half times this width, therefore here we can subtract. Two and a half times the width, and for them to rest on the YZ plane, we also have to move them in the x-axis. Half the height of the radius, with which we now have these cylinders supported on the YZ plane. We put the same material in them, and we have the second model. We repeat the operation, we duplicate this cylinder. We delete the cylinder, and we add the sphere. We change the name and save it. We give the same name to the piece. The radius is high between 2. And we move it that amount in Z and in X. In this case, it is already centered along the x-axis. We put the same material on it. And now we can save the third module. We make a copy of the bookend. To this copy of the bookend, we added a module selector. With this parameter, the reinforcement piece will be chosen. We select the 3 modules that we have created. The first is the square. We added a second option with the cylinder and a third option with the sphere. And we add a last option in which there is no object, no reinforcement. We save these options, and now we add a piece that is precisely the one we created with the reinforcement parameter. It is placed in its original position, which is centered on the x-axis, and we move it according to the measurements of the bookend. Here we see that it has taken the default values of the square. In the width, instead of being 0.02, we put the value of the thickness of the bookend. The height is the height of the bookend, but since we don't want it to go all the way to the top, we are going to put only 80% of the height. Now we have to place it. It has to be in the middle of the width, which is 20 centimeters. Therefore, we move it in Y by 10 centimeters, and we move it in both Z and X by the thickness value. And here it is raised so that you don't intersect with the original piece. We save it and check that in the bookend when we draw it again. The selector has been included in which you can change the reinforcement piece. We see the square, the 3 cylinders, or the sphere. Or we can leave it without this piece. We see that when we modify the height of this reinforcement is also modified. whatever type it is. And the same thing happens when we modify the thickness. We show it full screen.